we're just about to see the Lemon Dogs and Fnatic battle for control of the top spot in the league. So let's keep things going and head right into our next match with Joe and Jason.
Thanks a lot, Shocks. And our fourth game of the day, Lemon Dogs versus Fnatic. Two teams that have become fixtures right at the top of the table this split.
Yeah, and these two top spots are the guarantee of a bye round coming into the playoffs. Both these teams really do want it, and this is the first step to get into it. You need this one here.
Well, let's have a look then at the two teams. Starting on the blue side with the Lemon Dogs. They are, of course, Zoro in the top lane, Dexter in the jungle, Nuke in the mid lane, and Tabs and Mithy the AD carry and support.
And of course, on that red side, in that top lane is going to be Soaz, Cyanide in the jungle, Xpeke in that middle lane, and Pushu and Yellowstar as AD carry and support.
Well, you guys have been voting for this one at home, so let's see what it's like, Jason.
70% of the votes are over for Fnatic here. And we talked about previously, you know, a lot of people voting for Lemon Dogs, and it's the trend's continuing.
Yeah, well, it's not really mattered to them much, it seems. They've been shaking that one off. So don't forget, guys, you can still vote for all the remaining of today's games, but also for every single one coming up in this Super Week over at lolesports.com. Now, nobody really predicted the Lemon Dogs being in this position at the start of the split, except We Will Failer, if you'd have asked him. Certainly you guys at home, who only chose them to win in week 8. That was the first time that you actually voted in their favor, and that's 21 votes against a first place team. But I don't really think they care, Jason, as long as they keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, Lemon Dogs are in the best position heading into the week. Even if they go 1-4, they still make the playoffs. They would be in a tie with SK, and since Lemon Dogs are up 3-1 against them, they would advance. But I'm sure they'd rather do much better than that and secure one of those top 2 spots to skip that first set of games in the playoffs.
Well, Fnatic, on the other hand, are aware of how dangerous the Lemon Dogs can be. The last time that they met, of course, the Lemon Dogs won, and Tabs and Nuke had a massive day, with Tabs going 11-1-11 on Caitlyn, and Nuke going 10-3-4 on that Talon that he picked for the first time.
Yeah, and Fnatic have been strong all split, but there was really no surprise. Everyone expected them to be good. They were the spring split champions. Even though they no longer have Enrated, Yellowstar's been able to step up as a new support, and Pushu has been playing pretty well as the AD carry.
Well, we can see that Fnatic on your screens looking relaxed as per usual. They're never really a team that seems so flustered coming into games, but certainly a high-pressure situation for them coming into this weekend. And, well, we've seen them doing really, really well. We've seen them have their bad days, but generally things have been pretty solid for Fnatic.
Yeah, and one thing that really, to me, shouts out at this game is the fact that Lemon Dogs are going to be on the blue side. And I say that in particular because if you look back at all the games they've had so far, every game that Lemon Dogs was on the red side, they were able to counterpick Xpeke in the mid lane. Nuke would be able to just destroy him in that middle lane or roam around and really help quite a bit. But the one game that he was on the blue side and he got counterpicked by Xpeke, it was a Twisted Fate versus Kassadin, he just got shut down.
And we'll see how that all develops in this one. I can see the Lemon Dogs on your screens. As I said, no one really predicted them to be in the position that they are right now. Even though, you know, they said we're going to win, I don't think that they actually believe that 100% of the time because, you know, I mean, how could you? New team coming in there. They've obviously made that change, bringing in Mithy, who honestly has brought so much to this team. He's been so very calm and, you know, a very analytical player that's done a lot of the analysis side of things for the Lemon Dogs.
And he's really kind of made them all step up their game. Like, we talk about him a lot, but he's not like playing amazing. Like, he hasn't done these amazing like Mad Life plays or anything like that. But it's not necessarily what he brings in that game in terms of his champion, what he brings in terms of intelligence, like when to do what or how to analyze the games outside of it and how to analyze it in the game, which is really hard to do, has really made them successful.
See that Dexter as well, of course, made his first appearance here in the LCS studio in Cologne last split, when of course he came in for a couple of weeks for Dragonborns, no longer of course part of the LCS, but he's been an incredible player for the Lemon Dogs so far. The obvious standout game, of course, was that one against Gambit, where he played the Elise in the jungle. Got a little bit out of control with all the kills that he was picking up there, and that was a game where Lemon Dogs actually wiped the floor with Gambit. So we'll see if they can do that here against Fnatic.
And his stats are really good too. I mean, just in terms of his champion, Jarvan won 5 games out of 6. Lee Sin, 3 games out of 5. Elise, 3-3. And the Elise is kind of, to me, is curious if we're going to see it picked here, because obviously with the changes, we did see in the last game with Kuban, who didn't really, he made it look like there weren't any changes the way he played against Darien right there, but I want to see, is he going to run that in the jungle again?
Well, if you think about Elise in these two teams, it's it could very well be a highly contested pick because SOAS, now if we think back to the spring split, you had pretty much 100% record. I think they lost one game in the entirety of that. That was in the playoffs. You went through the normal season of the spring split of the 10 weeks without a single defeat on her. This time around, won 4 games out of 6 with her. We know how strong Elise's has. Had that bit of a change coming in, but seems like teams are still very willing to play the Spider.
And yeah, and the thing is, his Elise is 4-6, but his Kennen is 5-6. I mean, that just kind of shows he realized Elise is always going to be banned out against me. I need to learn another champion that can be very solid on, where his Jace he's currently 1-for-2 with, which we saw him back at Gamescom almost a year ago to this day, just destroying, I was Curse EU, I believe, against a Shen. So we're going to see what they're going to pick up this time, but one thing's for sure about these two teams and when they play against each other, their average game time and stuff like that is way longer than their game time in particular. Where Lemondogs 41-46 is when their normal games last, and Fnatic it's 41-05. But average game time between these two teams 53-09. So it kind of shows both these teams, they want to kind of pick apart the other team and take advantage of situations sparingly. Like they want to be able to do it when they know they can go for that win or they know they can win that fight. And it kind of shows that both these teams are respectful of each other.
And Lemondogs themselves, they've put an incredible amount of work in this season. That's something else that you guys at home obviously don't get to see on a day-to-day basis, but I think they're around the studios here in Cologne more than we actually are. Every single day here practicing, I believe 2 or 3 of them were over in Sweden at Inferno Online doing some boot camping before, in the week off that we've had from this. So they've continued that trend. The couple that didn't go there, they were here in Cologne, still training with the team. So they've put in a lot of work here, Lemondogs, over the season. Honestly, I've got massive respect for any team that's willing to do that. You look on the other side at a team like Gambit, who, due to the incredibly hard travel schedules that they have because of visas that they're only allowed to be here a certain amount of time, and to stretch that kind of through the timings of the LCS means that they have to fly in and out on a weekly basis, and that takes a massive chunk out of practice time, and it just shows you what real hard work can do for a team. And
what makes it even more harsh for Lemondogs is the fact that they don't have a gaming house. They're living out of a hotel, so they're always here, like you're saying, in the studios playing, practicing. And to be honest, if you look at all the work they're putting in, if they get to Worlds, if they do really well at the Worlds, it all would have been worth it.
Well, there's a long way to go still for that one.
Yeah, there is.
Even though it's not really that long of a way in terms of time. Obviously, we're here in the final week in Super Week. Then just next week, I think 5 days from now, obviously we start on Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, around about that, we can call it a week. Let's, for argument's sake. There's a week in between. Then, once Gamescom's over, we're going to find out which teams are possibly going to lose their spots here in the LCS, and more importantly, which teams are going to be going to Los Angeles. And
not to mention, if you think about the pressure that teams are under, we have a lot of teams who need a lot of wins here this week to kind of solidify their spot in the playoffs. But Lemondogs, when have they ever had pressure like this before? I guess you could look back to the Summer Promotion Tournament. However, they just aced their entire group or their entire series. And right now, with the playoffs coming up, the pressure's going to start to mount, and that's when you find out who the team is. Can they handle that pressure? Can they deal with it and still perform?
So we're going to go into Champion Select, then into the bans and the picks. Let's talk a little bit about them. We did touch on them slightly with the likes of Elise.
Well, I would also expect to see maybe a Kennen ban, as we mentioned before. SOAS has some good stats on that, 5-6, as well as Zora 0, 6-9. So maybe take that champion away, or maybe that will be a priority as a first pick. But you got to bet on Nuke Duck. He's the key person. He's the one that's always been the hardest person to deal with for Fnatic. He's been roaming around. He gets so many kills over and over, just like you mentioned before with this Talon game where he had a ridiculous score, and then Tabs 11-1-11. So that's got to be the focus for Fnatic. And then over on Lemondog's side, you can't really ban Fnatic out. So what you do is you ban things you don't want to play against.
So we are going to get in there here, and we can see that the first ban's coming out. Kassadin banned for the Lemondogs. Zed taken away by Fnatic.
Okay, so Kassadin don't want Cyanide playing it, or not Cyanide. Well, sorry, they switched spots on the picks and bans. They don't want Peke playing it, obviously, but Nuke always has potential to play it. So just gonna take it away. They're gonna have that first pick, but what do they want to get for it?
Well, Shen going to be taken out here by Lemondogs as well. Obviously, not want to let that in the hands of SOAS. And we actually see that you can see on the right that Peke and Cyanide have joined the game in the wrong order. It's a very simple thing
That's
to
what
do.
threw me off, I swear.
Or are they going to do another role switch? I doubt that's going to happen, but
That'd be amazing.
We've seen it before from Fnatic, the only team that have really done that one here. So we'll see. Elise banned out though. We talked about Elise before. Dexter in the jungle strong, Soaz in the top lane strong. No Elise this game.
Yeah, and I'm like we were saying before, Elise gonna be taken away, but the Kennen, I'm still looking to maybe see that banned, or maybe that will be the first pick for Lemondogs. But one thing they need to make sure to do is have Newt get a champion he's comfortable on. That isn't really easy to counter. Maybe like an Ari or something like that, because he's had such a tough time against Fnatic when he has to pick before them, when he gets counterpicked.
Well, they just missed a ban, right?
I'm not sure if they missed it or if that was intentional.
It's one of the two.
It is. That is definitely one of the options.
It's not there. So they didn't go for a third ban, whatever the reasoning behind that may be, whether a tactical choice or really what's going on from that one. We'll see a little bit later on when we hear from them. But Kennen is going to be the final ban out here from Fnatic. They'll use all three. So no Kennen for Zoro0 in this.
Yep. And that's going to be a... Oh, they didn't want to ban. I was asking Newt. They didn't want to ban, so they left that one free because they don't want to take away too many champions. But with that Kennen being taken away, Zoro0 is a little bit sad. He's not going to be able to play that in that top lane, but there's still so many champions to pick right now. Fiddlesticks for Mythy, Thresh for Mythy. I mean, it's easy to pick a support as your first thing since you can kind of counter what Fnatic's going to throw at you, and looks like that might be the pick.
Yeah, that's what they're going to go with. Pick up that Thresh. 2 wins out of 3, sorry, for Mythy on that Thresh. So certainly he is a very, very strong Thresh player. Really, as I said before, has come in and become a very analytical figure in this Lemondogs team that's helped them out. And, you know, the pick ban phase is one of the biggest areas of that, of course, as well. On the other side, looks like we could be seeing, and we will be seeing, Fiddlesticks locked in here for Yellow Star. Pushu going to have Caitlyn.
Okay, so it'll be really interesting to see how well he does on Fiddlesticks in that bottom lane. It's not really a deadly lane with that Caitlyn Fiddlesticks, but that also leads me to believe there's potential for Expect to play Caitlyn middle. We saw that versus SK versus Fnatic when Allsalt was playing Anivia. So that is always a champion that they can kind of roam around or choose where exactly they want that to go. But in my head, I'm still thinking to myself, I think Lemondogs are the first team to purposely let a ban go through. And it's not against the rules, and it's actually very smart. I was just thinking about that, like the possibilities and how no team's really doing that.
Yeah, you're allowed to do it. You don't have to ban anyone if you don't want to, but I think a couple of bans certainly are definitely needed. We did see Jarvan the 4th and Zac being picked up here by Lemondogs, so Dexter going to have the Jarvan in the jungle again. Very, very strong. You mentioned that one before. And that's Zac for the top lane, most probably, here for Zoro0.
Yeah, so right now, Lemondogs, they're getting comfort champions. And we see how deadly that can be. We saw it actually yesterday with TSM getting, I believe it was Nocturne, Karthus together to really, I forget the team they were playing against. I think it was Velocity at the time. But with that Jarvan, he's feel comfortable in the jungle. With the Zac in the top lane on Zoro0, it's going to be really interesting to see how well that works. Go ahead. You got
Karma.
this.
So Karma going to be picked up here then for Fnatic, which I'm going to go out on a limb and think that it might be a Soaz pick here for that top lane. He is a player that has brought a lot of champions out very, fresh off the bat. The likes of Jace, he was, for example, the first one to bring into Europe. So we'll see where that Karma slots in, whether it end up being with Peke in the mid lane or going up to that top lane.
I'm glad you said that.
Soaz.
Because in my mind, I was like, jungle Karma, but there's a Nunu and a Fiddlesticks. But I'm glad you said top lane Karma. I was not thinking that at all. You saved me there, Joe.
No problem. No one would have noticed, by the way, if you didn't say anything. But there you go. On the other side, Lemondogs finishing off their lineup with the Twitch and an Ahri coming out. And we know Nudux played a lot of Ahri. Tab's coming in with Twitch, a champion that he has played on before. But if you look over for the other side, Fnatic here, going a little bit differently. They picked Vayne in there as well. So, final pick was Vayne. So we're going to see Peke on Vayne. Soaz on Karma, but that may change. I've got a feeling that could end up changing around.
I think we're going to see a Pushu on Vayne with Fiddlesticks and then Peke on Caitlyn against Ahri in that middle lane. And we talked about Newt. He has to pick his champion that is strong with. Ahri was the one we thought he was going to go, but he has to be able to do well in lane. Or Lemondogs, it's going to be very hard for him to pick up this win. And right now, with that Fiddlesticks, just the threat of him, it forces Tabs to pick up Cleanse. It means he's not going to have another defensive or a barrier to kind of bait anyone in. And that's very dangerous considering he doesn't have that escape.
Well, we'll let you know if there's any last-second switch-outs here, and does look like that will be the case. Peke is going to be playing the Caitlyn. Pushu going to have the Vayne.
All right, this is going to be really interesting to see how that works. Peke already proved how good he is on Caitlyn against Allsalt, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, against Ahri. It's going to be very hard for her to close the gap. Obviously, you have to wait till level 6, but the harass is going to be dangerous, and Peke, I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to do that. So, Nukduck, what is he going to do to kind of counter this? As you see, Lemondogs, I don't think they were really expecting that.
No, I don't think they were either. Obviously, that Karma coming into top lane. Peke playing the Caitlyn in the middle. Obviously, they're going to have that blood boil coming out as well from Nunu, which, you know, it's nice when you've got it for 180 carry. When you've got 2, it's only a bigger bonus.
The downside of this composition, though, of double ADs is the fact that all your farm generally gets channeled into 180 carry, but when you have 2, it kind of splits that down the line. So it means your 80 carries are going to be, kind of strong middle, but towards the late, they're not going to be as strong as the enemy 80 carries. So if Fnatic is going to make this work, they have to do well early on.
So interested to see as well the Karma therefore. So as first time that we're going to see it here in the European LCS outside of the jungle. We did see, of course, Diamond playing it twice for Gambit, but this will be the first time that we're going to see him in lane, or see her, I should really say, in lane with Soaz. So here we go then, Lemondogs versus Fnatic, our 4th game here of day 1 of Super Week. We've got another 4 games coming up after this one, so cancel all your plans, because we're going to keep you here to watch all the games.
Because my plans are to cast.
I see what you did there. But there's the head-to-head for you as well, by the way. 2-1 in favor of the Lemondogs. And, you know, Fnatic, this is important for them as well, because it'd mean that if they end up winning this game, they end up then tied with the Lemondogs at any point, that would actually force an extra match at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, and with those 2 slots that both teams really want, it's really critical and really crucial for them to pick up this win. And I don't think we're going to see any level 1 action, as we do see Lemondogs invading, but I was looking at the teams in terms of compositions, and Fnatic, they want to pick someone off. Like, if you get someone slowed by Nunu, then you land that chain out of Karma, they're not going to move. They're stuck there. You have the Fear, you have the Sound Seas right after that, so they're looking to kill one person right away. But for Lemondogs, they have that Wombo combo team. They want to trap everyone in Cataclysm, trap them with Zac, then have the Spray and Pray coming over at the top of that. So Fnatic, they can't really afford a team fight, as actually Peke's going top lane, and they're sitting Soaz middle, so we are seeing a little bit of a switch.
So I was right about the whole mid lane Karma, possibly. We'll see how that one changes. You just saw Yellow Star there just going through the jungle, and it's look at the warding. It's a mirror on both sides of the map there, except the 1 extra ward that Fnatic have on the bottom side of the river. But both teams have got 2 wards in the enemy jungle, and also trying to keep an eye on their own side of things there on the entries as well. So it'll be interesting here to see where everyone's going. Soaz is actually headed towards top now by the looks of it, with Caitlyn coming mid.
Okay, I mean, just like we saw Gambit versus Mutumakers earlier, like, they want to ward up as much as possible to see where Cyanide going to be going. And they want to make sure that actually Soaz, so we're maybe going to go head-to-head here, but we are going to have that Caitlyn RA lane. We're going to have Cyanide not get interrupted at all at this blue buff, which is key. And you look at Dexter, he's actually started over at his red, so it looks like both junglers might interact with that top lane at that level 3 point. Did he not clear his last minion?
No.
That's not good.
I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe a little bit on autopilot at this point. Or is he going to actually head up towards the enemy side? No, he's just going for his blue buff. So interesting stuff there. I don't think that was intentional, as Mythy here gets a big blast down the bottom. And that silence is a lengthy thing, along with a Fear as well, which seems to last forever on you from Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, what makes Fiddle so strong early on is the fact that obviously he can push the lane a little bit with his crows, the silence and the Fear, but also if he can get control of the bushes on you, it's really hard for your AD carrier to kind of farm up. So Mythy kind of knew that, and he responded by putting a pink ward down, and they're keeping that lane pushed up so they don't lose that ward. They need to keep that. But looking for them, Yellowstar doesn't have a pink to kind of counter it, so their bot lane's not going to be able to get any kills relatively soon.
So Dexter's just come back down to his red camp and finished it off. So I think the point of that was he's just delayed it there so that he doesn't get counter jungled the next time it spawns. That's the only logical thing that I could think of from that.
That would be very smart in Cyanide right now. He has a ward, but with this Nunu, with the Caitlyn, you have that ability to quick push lanes right now. So we're going to have to see Dexter kind of come up here to the middle to kind of defend it, or Fnatic's going to get some good damage onto that turret.
So Dexter is going to be here to cover off somewhat, just doing his wraiths at this point of things. Okay, focusing more on towards the CS. There is Yellow Star going very low. There is a finisher. Expunge comes out from Tabs. And the first blood down in this bottom lane. Lemondogs showing that they are not scared of that Fiddle.
Yeah, it's a fantastic start for Lemondogs too, because Fiddlesticks kind of thrives on that early on presence, like the aggression that he can put out, and by being able to kill him, getting that first kill on the Tabs, we're able to control that lane a lot more, and more importantly, keep Vayne under farmed, which currently down 10 CS.
10 CS, and probably just the start of it there from that one. Sam starts to push through. Still Cyanide hanging in this middle lane, keeping that blood boil on constantly, but also taking the experience from that lane as well.
Yeah, it's going to hold Expected back a little bit, but they're still just going for the damage on this turret. It hasn't been taken that low because remember, in 3.10, the turrets have a lot more armor early on, then they kind of fade away as the game goes on. But they've been able to hold it, and with Dexter showing up, he's level 4. He's equal in terms of levels, and he's actually ahead in farm too, 15-6 right now.
Yeah, and on that front now, going to be doing a similar thing over this side as he smites the siege minion, and then Nukeduck missed the last hit on it as well. So not the most incredible display there, but whatever. They are still managing to hold on to this one. Nukeduck actually is going to go back to buy from this. This top lane, not really seen much from it. Well, of course, is Soaz playing the calm. A lot of damage coming down here on towards Zoro Zero. He's going to have to slingshot himself away.
Those creeps got him stuck in there from that. But yeah, Soaz, you're doing a pretty good job so far. He's behind in CS, and honestly, I'm not too sure on how well Karma does in that top end. I know late game she has a lot of poke, a lot of damage, and when you mix that in with a Caitlyn, you can really poke a team down before you want to go for it engage. But right now, with Cyanide still in that lane, I want to know if it's just because they want to push the turret down, or they want to force Dexter to stay middle. And because of that, he's not able to gank and really apply pressure into these other lanes. But right now, Cyanide, he's heading down bottom. He wants to make a play happen, but he's going to run through a ward.
Yeah, and straight over the top of a ward from this one, and Fnatic not really going to be able to follow up and chase through from that one. Mithy and Tabs just backing straight off as they see Nunu coming down in towards this bottom lane. And, well, as you said, Cyanide, he's got 7 CS right now. All his experience pretty much coming out of the lanes that he's been in.
Yeah, and look what he can do. I mean, he can run middle and he can run bottom over and over, just blood boil the AD carry, push the lane a little bit, try to get some damage onto the turret, then return to another lane. And I guess that's what he's going to be going for here, as well as picking up his own buffs when they do respawn.
There's Peke, if you look, obviously, as you'd expect at this stage, you head in the CS with that Nunu presence. There's not really a lot that Nukeduck can do to stop that one from happening in there. And you also see the Philo Stone being picked up there by Cyanide in the jungle.
Yeah, that's really unusual to see out of junglers, but it also kind of shows that he's not planning to be in the jungle.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be there. He's going to depend on this GP10 to keep taking in for him to get his gold income, because he wants to keep applying this pressure. But right now, Fnatic it's working. I mean, right now it's working because they have a lead in the top lane, they have a lead in the middle lane. They haven't been able to get too much damage onto the turrets, but Tabs has that kill.
Oh, there is Peke going very, very low. Cataclysm comes down, and Peke not able to escape that one, and there is the job, and they worked so hard to keep him pretty much in that mid lane to stop that from happening. As soon as Cyanide left the middle lane, ironically enough, that's when they see them come around and are able to pick up the first kill.
And because
he's
been
on the game.
Yeah, but I mean, because he's been able to sit in his own jungle as well as sit in that middle lane to get free farm, he hit 6 way before Cyanide. So he was able to apply that Cataclysm, blew the flash out of Xpeke, even blew the 90 caliber net, which obviously comes up, but he was able to lock him in that Cataclysm long enough and then to pick up that kill, and that kill went over to Dexter. Not exactly who you want it to go to, but you're going to pick up that kill either way you can.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they'll be too unhappy with that one. It just means that Dexter's going to be even further ahead of Cyanide when it comes down to it. Top lane, Soaz has got himself right back into the lead in terms of the farm. Double Doran's ring for him, 57 CS to 43. And, well, Negatron Cloak from Zoro Zero with that Doran shield. Wants that protection.
And I'm really worried for Fnatic right now because the strategy they've been using isn't working out that well for them. If they can't get a bigger lead in one of these lanes and start maybe picking up some kills, or if Xpeke dies again in that middle lane, they're going to be so far behind. And when you're against a team like Lemondogs who wants to force these team fights with their wombo combo, you're not really going to be able to do too well in that fight.
And I see Zoro Zero just really bringing that minion wave right underneath his turret. He wants to stay safe from that one, as Nukeduck going to be getting his blue buff here. Back into lane for him. He's 43 to 62 CS behind. So overall, Fnatic here doing really well on the farm. Pushu is a little bit behind from that one, but you can expect it after that kill on his support early on. There's the ace in the hole, just a bit of harassment onto Nukeduck.
I was actually expecting him to be behind a lot more than this, as they do go for Xpeke right here.
Yeah, going straight into him once again. Look how low he's gone just from that. Can they get a final touch onto him? No, not quite, but the charm landing on towards Cyanide. Have they got the damage for him? No. He will walk away as well, and, well, both of them lucky to be still alive after that.
And they completely turn around that aggression of Cyanide, keeping his presence in that middle lane, able to push them both out, and Pushu getting caught.
Yeah, Hook coming in, Flay gonna knock him back from this one. It's a nice condemn, but the box is gonna be hit here by Pushu. There's the Lantern to bring him back in. We do see the exhaust going down, but it's not enough as Tabs flashes in for that one. He had Spray and Pray running as well, and that will be another kill coming down for Lemondog. Second one for the AD carry. Pink ward's down at Dragon, they're gonna start it.
Just amazing. Use out of the mechanics of these champions by Lemondogs right there. Taz got condemned into that wall, but it didn't matter. With that Lantern, with Mythy constantly pushing into Pushu, keeping next to him, he's able to pull Tabs in, able to pick up the kill, and a Dragon on top of this. They just got a nice 2.3k gold lead in the matter of 30 seconds.
Very, very strong stuff here. And, well, what would you expect other than strong stuff from the league leaders at this point of things? I mean, we always act certainly a bit surprised when we see such amazing plays coming out of the Lemondogs, but I don't think we really should be that surprised because, as I said, they're top of the league as we see another ace in the hole coming through. Great use of the minions there from Xpeke to get as much damage down as he could. Trying to force Nukeduck to play a little bit more defensive as Soa's now starting to push on towards his top turret.
And that's one thing about League of Legends that makes it so much fun to watch and cast and play, is that amazing things like that can happen over and over and over again. You still get that same amount of excitement from it. But right now with this game, with this actually huge game where Fnatic needs to pull it off to kind of tie up the series, where they potentially could be in a tie and then go into that 5th map at the end of the Super Week. And right now, they're holding that CS lead middle, they're holding the CS lead top, but bottom lane is starting to get out of hand. 2 kills on the Tabs. He has a nice 26 CS lead.
Yeah, Pushu, though, is, yeah, as you said, not doing so well. That's the problem for them, I think, here. And we know the Vayne, if you can kind of stay level in there, then you're doing a decent job because you're going to be getting stronger. But now he has fallen behind as we are going to see the flash coming in. There's Cataclysm, the net away, but it's not going to matter. Nukeduck able to pick that one up. And there's the problem, you know, that squishy AD carry in the middle, 90 caliber net really to escape is all that he's got when that flash is going to be down. And Lemondog's exploiting it to the max. And
the thing is, they exploited it further. They put a pink ward down in that bush to take away any vision that Xpeke would have. And from that, able to gank. And Lemondogs, they are just doing so well. I mean, you can see where Dexter's been applying pressure just based on the deaths of Fnatic. He hasn't really been in the top lane to punish Soaz, but they realize, you know, Soaz won't be able to carry the game himself. He has a amount of farm, doesn't have any kills though. And right now, since they have a stronger team by team, it doesn't matter what's going to happen with Soaz on that top lane, as long as he doesn't start to get really strong.
Yeah, Karma has a way of coming back around to haunt you, so we'll see about that one. That was incredibly cheesy. Pushu here, farming up underneath his turret. They'll be happy with that one. Don't want to get involved in the lane. Don't want to be risking anything. But look at the wards down there as well. There are currently 4 pink wards on the map from Lemondogs. 2 by the Dragon, 1 up by that mid lane, 1 down at the bottom. And that's just showing that the control that they've got. You know, the Dragon obviously where they were 2 down, but the one that you mentioned here for Xpeke to get rid of the vision, the one down to control the brushes in that bottom lane to stop the Fiddlesticks being so annoying and having the possibility to jump out of nothing and the ulting on your face. So, now, just really, really great, solid stuff from Lemondogs.
And not to mention, they have 3 more pink wards in their inventory. 1 on a Dexter, 1 on a Tabs, who's the AD carry, and 1 on the Mythy. So they really want to control the jungle, and this is a really good way to do it. A really good investment to do, considering there's no point in buying an Oracle right now, but we're only 12 minutes in. And we have such a strong start out of Lemondogs, and Yellow Star, I think he's dead.
He's going to get charmed up from this one. Tab's able to finish that one off. Not really much to talk about. The Vision War, again, they have complete control. Missed out on the hook there, but that really didn't matter. An easy free charm coming in from the side. And that will be another kill for Tabs, who's now 3-0-0. As I said, the last time these 2 teams met, Tabs was 11-1-11 by the end of it on Caitlyn. And just showing that, you know, he came into this AD carry role with a bit of a question mark, in my opinion, above his head. But he has come and really performed so well for Lemondogs this season.
I think that shows how good of a player he is. Yeah. I mean, considering he was an ex-AP mid player, but to transition from that in a matter of such a little time and to do that well is just you just know he's phenomenal. And right now, Fnatic, they're losing control of their jungle. Look how many pink wards are down yet again, Joe, in just the bottom side of the map for Fnatic. Or for Lemondogs, I'll say. And this means they're going to lose a lot of their buffs. And Xpeke, he has a decent amount of farm, but just like we were saying before, double AD carry. You cannot afford to funnel CS into one person. You have to funnel into both. Now, obviously splits it across the board. So right now, Fnatic, they don't really have much damage.
Oh, and Soaz here maybe getting caught out. Let's bounce coming in there. Is the ulti running from Nukeduck, and Soaz going to try his best here, but well, with those two champions bearing down onto you, no problem. Nukeduck again showing how good he is at roaming around the map, and that's even with Fnatic having those wards there in the river too. That's pretty much all they could do to stop that happening, but when he walks through your jungle, what are you going to do about it?
Die.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
But I mean, like right now, like we talked about it in the pregame, Nukeduck, how strong he is when he's allowed to roam around the map and make plays happen. He's now 2-0-2. He's gotten a kill over to Tabs. He got a kill for himself in that top lane just now, but an assist over to Zoro. And if he keeps this up, like with the control of vision they have, then the game's just going to get too strong. Lemondogs are just going to get too far ahead.
Well, right now, a ward put down. Not a pink ward though, so it wouldn't have been spotted there, Tabs, if you'd have gone through to that one. This bottom turret is still standing, and turret's generally not been attacked too much in this game. Only that mid-outer been taken down so far. We see that Zoro is now pushing up on towards the outer turret in that top lane, which he's just going to have to back away from. But Dexter is waiting here. They may try and lock down Soaz again.
And here we go. So they're going for the fight here, and they have the turret. A little bit of health missing, actually very low right now, but they have him sandwiched. Like, he's going to back away. Oh, he actually might face check into Dexter.
Oh, Dexter will recall. No, he actually cancels that one. He's going to put some damage down, and Soaz just speeding himself up to walk away from that one. That's the thing, Dexter, camped that middle lane a little bit, got a couple of kills for his mid laner. Now he's headed a bit more towards his top lane to get the same going there for Zoro. And it's about spreading all the kills around the team, which Lemondogs have done so well up to now.
And that's what's so nice about Tabs and Mythy getting such a strong start against Pushu and Yellow Star. He doesn't have to worry about that bottom lane too much. And because of that, he can make sure Nukeduck doesn't fall behind in that middle lane. And then now, finally show some presence in the top lane where we're not able to pick up a kill, but they might be able to pick up a dragon off of this.
Yep, dragon spawning in, and this is going to be a Lemondogs dragon number 2. No chance for Fnatic to come and do anything about this one. Smited away there in the end by Dexter. So let's have a look at the gold, because it's a bit of a whopping difference at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 6,000 difference between the two teams, and they're just pretty much turning those into items right now for Lemondogs, where they have a tank item built, Spirit Visage right now on Azor Zero. They have the Spirit of the Ancient Golem on a Dexter. They have the DFG and the Blade of the Rune King done. Like, they're getting items ahead of Fnatic right now, and it just kind of shows that they can start to force some fights. They can force some objectives, which they're currently doing. They're going for this bottom turret.
And again, look at the wards that they've got down here. Not just, 3 pink wards on the top side of the map. There's one in the mid lane there. They've got the bottom side of the jungle. And now, because of that lead that they've got going on, they've got more disposable income than your average millionaire right now.
And I'm thinking to myself, as we saw earlier, Gambit versus Meteor Makers, Gambit didn't have this big of a lead. But they were just storming over Meteor Makers, and right now Lemondogs with this lead, they're playing it so smart. They're not trying to do anything stupid. They're not trying to be over-aggressive when they feel like they shouldn't be, because they realize what's on the line here. They want this win, and if they keep playing like this, they're going to get it.
Yeah, they are certainly on the right path for towards victory. As we see Mythy there just waiting inside of that brush. Finally, an Oracle coming out here for Yellow Star, and that should allow Fnatic to get a little bit more control of the game, and more importantly of that map back. We'll see about that, because Lemondogs are not finished here. They're still pushing on this bottom turret.
And they're not being punished for it because they have the control of the vision, because they have Dexter on the sideline. They want to get it very low here. And to be honest, they actually might be able to take it soon. I think in the next wave or two, they'll be able to get it.
Yeah, down to half HP already. Tabs continues to hammer away, and as soon as Vayne comes anywhere near him, he's like, nope, I'm off. I'm Dark Passage. I am straight out of the way of this one. And well, now they're joined by even more, and they are going to be taking this turret down with this wave.
It's a good job by them. And in the meantime, they're leaving Zoro Zero alone in the top lane versus Soaz, where he actually got the lead over him right now when he was previously behind quite a bit, but he's actually doing some good damage onto him.
Yeah, he's going to go straight on into him there. He's Let's Bounce, using the Ignite as well, and may have not thought, okay, I can get the kill from this one, but forcing Soaz away to get even more of an advantage there will just help him out from that. And you see how low he's managed to get Soaz there with just defensive items.
It doesn't look like he's done just yet, but he will be able to dodge that. And right now, we have Tabs back with 2,800 gold. Picked up a Zil, picked up a QSS. Very smart move. Doesn't want to get caught with anything. He needs to get out of a fear and a silence, because he has the majority of the kills on himself. And that just shows, like, he realizes he doesn't really need more damage right now. He needs to make sure he stays safe.
Yep, safety 3-0-0 right now. As we see, he push around once again for the blue buff. That's going to be continued to be controlled by the Lemondogs. We've really had a big stronghold on this one, and of the entire jungle, to be honest with you. The warding up till now has been absolutely brilliant.
And if they keep this up, like, doing a good job of it, but it seems like their momentum has slightly slowed a bit, if you know what I mean. Like, they've been able to take turrets and force these, but right now they're kind of like, all right, we have the mid second or tier 2 turret up, we have the top tier 2 turret up, but they're not necessarily going for it, they're not necessarily pushing for it just yet. And I kind of hope they don't go for Baron. I mean, they have all the Barons against Fnatic, 5-0 in their series. But there's no point in going for it right now, as we saw at the game with Gambit earlier. I mean, they had such a huge lead, no point in going for something where it could potentially be stolen. But where are Lemonix looking for their next move? Are they waiting for Fnatic to come in the jungle and pick up a kill?
Well, right now, it looks like that is going to be the plan as he put 2 men on towards his top turret. 0-0 takes a bit of a blast there from the inner flame. And they continue to put the pressure down. Tabs is waiting off just to the side, as is Mithy, and they may be able to catch one out here. There's a hook coming through on towards Yellow Star. He's going to be focused, forces to flash away. And that will leave him very low. Pushu now coming across to try and cover from this one. The spray and pray on there for Tabs as Mithy getting caught here. Going to get slowed. He now has to flash away. Ace in the hole comes flying through, and Soa's managing to snipe off the kill.
Wow. I mean, everyone tried to block that for him, but and then he goes down, and that was with Yellowstar getting caught, who ended up flashing away. And they're actually going to continue pushing, and with Xpeke pushing middle right now, because you have Nukeduck doing the same, they might be able to make it.
This is a little bit risky here for Lemondogs, and need to watch out. And the thing is, if Nukeduck goes in on towards Peke now with that DFG, Peke's not going to survive it. There's pretty much no way that he can hold on to him there. So we are going to see the charm come down, not quite connected. But you can bet your bottom dollar, if that charm would have landed, Nukeduck would have gone in for that one. See, just at range there, really putting down some good damage. Another missed charm. It's all fine. 3 men here for Fnatic. That's all fine for the Lemondogs, because they're still pushing up towards the top as well. Yeah, and So's left here up all alone. That turret already is very low, but they're still being very hesitant to go in as they do engage on the Soaz. Right, they speak about that. But here comes Yellowstar from the bottom, and because they got that flash out of him a little bit earlier, because he's level 7, 20 minutes in, because they've been able to harass him quite well, been able to kill him a couple of times, the threat of his ultimate isn't too high. He doesn't even have boots yet, Joe. No, and that's definitely not a good sign for him. I mean, if you look at Mithy, only at level 8, so he's not a massive way forward, but if you think of the other champions on the field here, they can destroy that Fiddlesticks in absolutely no time. Finally, they get the inner turret in this top lane as well. And the thing what's so important about Fiddlesticks in terms of levels, you can't get max rank fear until you're level 9. So he's obviously doesn't have max rank of it just yet, which you really kind of need for these fights. You have to be able to lock someone down, which currently, it looks like Nukeduck might be his target, but right now, I don't even think Fnatic can afford to engage. They have to kind of turtle up and hope that Lemondogs go for an engage that they're not going to win. Nukeduck now got that haunting guys in there with the DFG as well. As you mentioned earlier, Quicksilver Sash for Tabs. He's not been back to buy since then, so guessing he's sat on a decent amount of gold, 16,500 gold right now he's sat on. As another dragon going to spawn in, Lemondogs obviously got the timing on it, and they are headed straight down there. And they have all the vision on top of that, so it will be a completed fan answer for Tabs, and every game so far we've seen today have been kind of determined on who controls the dragon the best. And we think back to the SK game earlier on today versus Alternate, they had 5 or 6 dragons. EG had a couple, or I think 3 against their opponent right there, against NIP, and in the Gambit game, they didn't really need them, but they still had like 2 or 3 to the 0 the other team. MYM actually had the first.
Oh, they did have the first one, yes, you're right.
As well, so that just shows you that they apparently didn't even need it as they walked through them. Lemondogs here setting up a bit of a trap. If they can get a hook, then they'll follow through with the entire team. Nukeduck's so very dangerous at this point in the game. Can take down pretty much anyone. I think Cyanide obviously going to be the hardest one of the lot to be taken down, but I don't think Nukeduck would have too much of a challenge with him either. And we see right now that Dexter's trying to make a move on that top side, but oh no, the charm! There's the charm coming in. Less bounce going to come down. Peke going to use everything he can to try and get away from this one. There's a Cataclysm. Vayne, what are you going to do? Already used the tumble inside of it, so couldn't escape out. Ace in the hole comes through. 0-0 will block that one, and well, they take a kill, plus they've got the tower. Lemondogs will be happy with that. That's all they need. Just you see that one charm land or that one hook land. I don't think they have the damage to kill him. He's too tanky right now at this point, but we'll get safe and back away, but if the Lemondogs keep doing that, if they keep picking up one person a Fnatic each time, push a turret down, we're going to take home this victory, and we'll expect it. Barely going to escape that one. Well, Mithy missed the hook, let's be fair. I'm not calling an escape when it was, quite frankly, he didn't even move. You know, I think Mithy was trying to predict any kind of movement, which obviously didn't quite happen there. Interesting stuff. The last Whisper actually was finished first here for Tab, so he was going in for that one.
A little bit surprised by that, though, since Team doesn't really have too much armor built up or prioritized against him. But, I mean, just look at the CS lead he has. 4 kills. He's 199 to 130 CS against his counter opponent, or his opponent. Like, that is just a huge lead for him, so I guess he can afford to go for something like that. And with that spray and pray, it's just going to tear apart Fnatic.
There's 2,000 gold for Nukeduk to spend as well when he finally goes home. Wants his blue buff first of all, though. Or is he? Is that going to go over to Zach? We'll see as Peke here getting caught out. Tab's going to go in there, and Dexter secures the kill. I don't think he really needed to do that one. Tab's actually flashing in to make sure that he got that kill. I'm not sure that was 100% needed either, but Peke caught out of position there. Not a lot you can do.
Yeah, and I mean, we're about 24 minutes in, and we have a 12,000 gold lead for Lemondogs. And we talked about how they have like a longer average game time than they normally would against any other team, but right now, it looks like Lemondogs might be able to pull this one through in half the time. Yeah,
we're at 25 minutes into this one. They've got a humongous lead. And I can't see them letting this one slip. Right now, Zoro0 just teeing himself up. Is he going to dive in there? No, he's not. Bit of a letdown when he gets that max length and he like, oh no, okay, he's not going to jump in there. But right now, prioritizing these turrets as the charm lands on Soaz. No follow-up though.
And we've seen many times where teams right here trying to push down this inhibitor turret where they've just almost lost the game because they get a little cocky, they go for an engage they shouldn't. I mean, Tab's at half life. Yeah, Nuke took down a quarter of his life, and they're playing it safer. I mean, I think Baron might be more of a possibility since we're 25 minutes in, and they have that vision control. Look at the top side of the map for Fnatic. They have one more down, and that is right outside their base. They have no vision over Baron except that ward, which I just noticed. And with that Oracle on Mithy, they might be able to take that down, or they should be able to, and that could be the next move.
Look at the item differences here as well. I mean, so the AD carries are the easiest to compare at this stage, and I think most of the problem is that you can't really compare. Both of them got that Blade of the Ruined King, but Tabs has got a QSS Zeal and that last Whisper in there, and just a crit cloak over with Push, who's Vayne not even got the tier 2 boots yet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a Vayne though, so
well, yeah.
I'm not saying right now, but like if this game lasts another 10-15 minutes, it doesn't matter how far behind he is at this point. It just comes down to whether he can stay alive in these fights. And Lemondogs, I mean, they don't need to end it soon because they have such a good team fight composition, but they can't afford to let Fnatic get any sort of foothold in this game. And with this Baron, they should be able to.
Well, started off here, and Fnatic have got no vision anywhere near right now. And that Baron is going down pretty quickly from this one. Already way below half HP. Fnatic have just been pushing out the waves, and Lemondogs are going to be taking this Baron, and there's not a thing that Fnatic can do about it.
That takes it to 6-0 in this series for Lemondogs, taking every single Baron possible, even with their own, or at least the first one. But here we go. They have that Baron buff. They don't have as much vision anymore since Yellowstar was able to put some wards down, but with this Baron, with their team fight composition, they should be able to dive on a turret if they want to.
Yeah, Lemondogs just claiming back that Fnatic jungle. They've had 2 jungles now for quite a long time of Lemondogs to be farming from, and that vision going back in there once again, pushed out this top wave. Just a matter of time here before Lemondogs can break through, and you have to wonder whether it's going to be something like that, the hook landing, or the charm coming out of Nukeduk to get things started. And there it is, goes over the wall. Yellow Star almost burst down from 100 to 0. DFG was used, didn't quite have that final tick. If he'd used his Ignite, he probably would have killed him.
But now his ultimate's down, and Yellowstar only committed his flash, so that's not necessarily a good sign. In the end, I think that was a good trade for Fnatic because their turret didn't take any damage, and Yellowstar is now back, so that might have been a little bit of a misplay. Lemondogs with that Baron, they don't care. They're still going to push in.
Yeah, going to go straight down for this one. They got the minions in there with them. Now I'm going to see a bit of poke coming back from Fnatic. Stun going to come in towards Zoro0, but honestly, they're not too worried about that, I think, at this stage. You see that Abyssal Scepter now added into Morellonomicon for Soaz. Lemondogs still stand here, and they've got a very mobile team, a team that can be from quite far away from you to on top of you in a split second. They have to be really wary of that, Fnatic.
They really do. They can't afford to get caught at all by a charm or a hook, and luckily for Fnatic, though, they do have some decent wave clear, as you can tell. I mean, that turret's only dropped about halfway after about 3 or 4 waves of minions, but with Soaz on that Karma, with Caitlyn with the Piltover Peacemaker, even with the Crows out of Fiddlesticks, they're able to push it out and really force Lemondogs to make the first move. If they want to get this turret, they're going to have to dive.
Yeah, Zoro's made a bit of a step towards that one. Going to try and split them off as he pushes those minions through on towards that middle inhibitor turret. There is Tabs actually hammering away on it, and he's taken decent amounts of damage, but he can always escape with that lantern there. Gets a shield from it as well, and
and heals back up.
3 or 4, yeah, and they're just going to lifesteal it all straight back up on the next wave that comes out of Fnatic's base.
Smart move by Lemondogs too. I like that. I mean, Dexter and Mythic could have attacked the minions, but they're like, no, let's let Tabs heal up because he's doing some good harass to that turret. They got it down further in just 1 or 2 waves than they've gotten previously, and this might be the final straw for the turret. I'm not sure it's going to stay alive much longer.
Now we see once again Stealth coming out. Tabs are stood right on top of the lantern, but they're going on towards Yellow Star. He's burning from the Ignite. There's Let's Bounce coming in. There is a kill coming down as well, and now the Cataclysm. Pusher will flash away from it, but they're all super low. Here comes Nuke Duck. They're almost on top of the fountain there, Dexter. Look how close his flag was. But that's going to get them the turret and the inhibitor, and they're going to go straight to the mid lane.
And they still have that Baron, so they can take this turret as well. A phenomenal job by them to just kind of go in with that turret was low enough. And also Nuke Duck just pushed them out right away.
Yeah, they're going to take this one here as well. I can't see Fnatic repelling this attack. Tabs
going
pretty low, ace in the hole, forced to use the barrier as well. I think he would have gone down without that one, and that signals a retreat from the Lemondogs, taking out that second inhib turret on the way. And they're going to spend what I'd imagine is quite a lot of gold right now. There we go, 2.3, in fact, over 2,000 for 3 men. The support got 1,000 gold, 1,500 for Jarvan as well. This is going to be a nice shopping trip for the Lemondogs.
One thing, though, that Fnatic can kind of take from this is they're going to have waves pushed up constantly now. So they're going to have quote-unquote free farm in these lanes, but obviously it's going to pull someone away from the group, and that means Lemondogs can kind of push another lane as well. But still, I mean, they have a lot of farm on Expected right now, 272. Has Infinity Edge, almost has a Found Dancer done. He still does a lot of damage, but Pushu needs that Found Dancer done soon, as he almost has it built up. I mean, just with the Silver Bolts, he's going to hurt quite a bit, but the Lemondogs just have too much damage for them to deal with.
Yeah, we saw that Rabadon's Death Cap finished off for Nuke Duck, plus another Blasting Wand added in, Randuin's Omen, Sunfire Cape. That armor's starting to stack up now, which obviously against this double AD comp is exactly what Lemondogs want. And right now they can have themselves another free dragon.
And look what they don't have, Joe, the Lemondogs. They don't have that locket. They realize, you know, magic resist aura, or so it's not magic resist per person, but they realize they don't really need that item. And because of that, Mithy's been able to spend a lot more money on these Mobo boots, on to get the oracles, get a lot more pink wards down, and able to take control because they skipped that item. And right now, with that dragon, they're going to be pushing up bottom here, and they have the super minions pushing top. They can probably go for that free inhibitor middle right now. And Fnatic, what can they do to defend? And I'm not thinking of really anything they can do.
Got traps down there for as much as they can. XPK needs to be careful here. There we see inhibitor shredded to pieces. They are going to get in. Peke is going to be in all kinds of trouble. He's going to net away. Well, here comes Nuke Duck from the side to pick up the kill. That is bad news when they lose that. And there is Cyanide, 100-0. Easily done there by the Lemondogs as that DFG goes in onto him. And they may just be able to finish off the game. And they've actually gone in for more kills. Pushu being hammered away on there. Zoro tanking up the turret here. But the rest of the Lemondogs are going in on towards those Nexus turrets. The first and the second are going to fall in quick succession. Fnatic back on the fountain, and Lemondogs are going to pick up the victory here, losing only 1 man in the course of the game as well, and finishing off another kill there right at the very end. Brilliant performance, and again, I feel like I've said these words a lot today, absolute control there from the Lemondogs.
And I think more importantly from that game, it's got to feel so rewarding. Like the time you put in over this past week and a half of training and practicing, getting ready for these games, and then just to destroy Fnatic, it kind of gives you a little bit of a confidence booster. And then Fnatic's camp, all the prep they've been doing, weren't even able to kind of get them through that middle game where they got 1 kill throughout the entire match.
Yeah, Lemondogs going to hand over here, shake the hands of Fnatic, who going to be feeling a little bit down, I think, after that one. You know, 12-1 in kills, the gold nowhere near close, 10-1 in turrets it was right at the very end as well. So, you know, Lemondogs, they did it by the book there. By the end, they were pushing through pretty much every single tower. Only the bottom in tower was left up from that. But another incredible performance from the league leaders.
And the thing is, like, I don't want to take anything away from Fnatic. Like, they had a CS lead in their top and middle lane for quite a while in that game. And it was the whole strategy of having Cyanide on that Nunu come in and try to push the lanes in. But the thing is, it didn't work out that well. Jarvan was way more impactful throughout that game because of the constant ganking middle. Cyanide didn't really gank anything. I think he maybe ganked bottom once, but that was about it.
Well, he kind of constantly ganked middle. He stayed there for a very long time. And, well, you saw it. The first time that he really left that lane is when they actually picked up the first kill there onto Expeke. Another one followed after. Then he went up towards the top lane to, camp Soaz out of things a little bit. And he was very cleverly thought out there, even from the very beginning. I'm going to give Dexter the benefit of the doubt with delaying the spawn time on his red, definitely not forgetting the last.
Actually, I think you're right on that one.
I think he delayed it. That's what makes most sense to me from that one as well.
When he got his blue over to Nuke Duck, his red just spawned. So yeah, I definitely have to agree with that one. That's really smart play on his part, considering he started red first, but he waited till after blue was dead to pick it up. So he kind of reset the spawns. So yeah. Good call. Smart
stuff from that one. So congratulations to Lemondogs. A big victory from that one. We're going to head over to Demon and Quickshot, though, to break down that last game.
Thank you very much, Joe. And well, what a game it was. Straight away, we saw from the picks and bans, we were a little confused, and it seems Lemondogs were not so confused because they played brilliantly. But really, it was all about that opening team comp, and they had to win the lane phase.
Yeah, the thing with the Fnatic comp is they ran a double AD comp, and with double ADs, there's always like a ticking time bomb. The later the game goes, realistically, the more difficult it becomes to win a game. Because if you've got tanky champions like a Zac and a Jarvan, they're going to stack HP, they're going to stack armor, eventually get a Thornmail, and it becomes so incredibly difficult to get through that. So Fnatic picked the comp that they really need to win the mid game. And in order to get to the mid game, they need to survive or win the laning phase.
Bit of a snowball effect, really. It just sort of backfired on them. So Lemondogs now set aside. They're on their own at the top now, and they're running away with it.
Yeah, so this is the largest gap we've seen between any of the teams within the league right now, and you can see why. Individually, they won basically every single lane. They were 6-0 up by about 19 minutes. They were able to find kills, find opportunities, find objectives, and basically, Fnatic didn't really have a reply. They were trying to put up a fight, but their composition wasn't tailored to team fighting. They needed to, get picks, they needed to get damage down, and their unique double AD just didn't work out for them.
It didn't work out for them. We didn't really have a replay for this one because there wasn't really anything worthy of a replay. It was a very steady, one-sided stomp.
What we ended up seeing is that Lemondogs transitioned from the laning phase to the teamfight phase, and they continued to find picks. So in the laning phase, they were winning out basically 2v2s, 1v1s with the aid of a jungler every now and again. And in the team fights, it was 5v5 at a tower. Land a charm, slingshot in, get a tower.
Pick a kill.
Jump back in, like over and over and over. It was just rinse and repeat because Fnatic couldn't challenge. Fnatic couldn't sit at a tower siege and say, hey, we'll throw ourselves at you, because their comp didn't work for it. So they had to sit back, had to play defensive, and it just allowed Nuke Duck to just sit there and fire out the charms until one landed.
I mean, they're going to land eventually, and well, it was fantastic play from Lemondogs, who now sit on the top of the table, quite clear from everyone else. Fnatic were one of the challengers, didn't even come close. We're going to go over to Shox, who is standing by with the one and only Mithy for an interview.
Thanks very much, D-Man. Welcome, Mithy. Congratulations. Tell me how you went into this match. Of course, a very important matchup against Fnatic, but do you go into this one as we want to keep our first place or as we just want to get to playoffs? What is the mindset?
I think it's neither of both. It's more about getting top 2 and securing our next LCS. And yeah, I was actually really nervous before this match.
You are, but still turned out very well. So let's talk about their picks. It was Fnatic, crazy picks, Power Hour again. They had a Karma in the top lane, and then a double AD comp, and of course a Nunu. So what did you identify as the most dangerous thing about that comp going up against them?
Well, if that comp snowballs you, then you will lose. I really don't think how we can come back from that comp. Maybe making picks, but basically their comp was very weak in the early game, and yeah, like once we got the 2v2, I knew the game was over pretty much.
Yeah, Nunu wasn't able to snowball all that much. So what would you say was the key element that got you going, and from then on you just were able to take kill after kill after kill?
Well, they give me Thresh, so I knew that if I had Thresh, the game would be over, and that's what happened.
So tell me a little bit about how come you guys are looking so strong? I mean, other teams have gaming houses, you guys don't. You basically live out of a hotel, and still you're able to bring out that much that the other teams can. So what's that secret ingredient that Lemondogs has?
We just try our best, and we always give our best, and it doesn't even matter if we have a gaming house. We play for more than 8 hours a day. We play. We don't like train for 8 hours a day and then we take pauses and stuff. We actually play for more than 8 hours a day. So yeah, we we do give our hearts to these games. It's our job and it's also our hobby. And on top of that, this week we actually had very, very good practice against SK. And yeah, it shows.
Yeah, it certainly does. So finally, going into the rest of the next games coming up for you guys, incredibly important. Are you dreaming of that Los Angeles trip maybe that could come up, or is it for future, and do you think, no, just the games now, just the games?
To be fair, I am actually pretty tired of playing, but if we actually make it to Worlds, I'll be really happy to go to Los Angeles and meet all of my actual idols, because I really do fanboy Korea, so yeah.
All right, but first, of course, all the games here and then Gamescom, but good luck in your future games.
Thank you.
All right, we've got tons more action to come, but before we go any further, take a minute to answer our Twitter question of the day. Of course, we asked you which European LCS team will be most affected by the new patch and why. And if your tweet is one of the 5 we picked to read on the air, you'll get a Logitech G400 as a gaming mouse. Of course, don't forget to follow us at LOL Esports and use the LCS hashtag to be eligible. Now we're going to take a short break, but don't worry, we'll be back with the next match between Evil Geniuses and Meet Your Makers before your ult cools down.